like that's how I incorporate it in my life. At work, I'm a totally different person. I'm not this person that's arguing with my coworkers. I genuinely care about what they have to say, even if it's like backwards ideas, and I take like the progressive things that they say, and I like work with that. I think it's taught me to be more patient and to really like meet people where they're at. That's how I've incorporated it in my everyday life. I think even my family sees it. They're like, damn, you're like a changed person. Like, you're not the same anymore.
Wow.
I don't like dispose of people like I used to. Like, if somebody wasn't like as radical as I am or didn't agree with me, I would immediately be like, I can't talk to these people anymore.
Yeah, I used to be the same.
I used to be like, oh, all Trump supporters like are Nazis.
Right.
Yeah, like they're all Nazis. And now it's just like I'm more sympathetic to those working class, you know, like Trump supporters. I understand like there's like Nazis, there's like which are fascists, and then there's like the like Trump supporters, you know. So I think that's how it's changed my everyday life. Yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
How would you describe your, like, not in a postmodernist way, but just in like for yourself, your racial and ethnic identity?
You know what? I've always had like difficulty understanding the difference between race and ethnicity.
Yeah. No,
it's like so confusing.
It is.
I'm like a Chicana.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm part of the Chicano nation. That's what I would consider myself. I don't know if that's a race. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I know what you mean.
Does that answer the question? Chicana?
No, it does. And that's how, honestly, that's how most of us in our comrades, like, largely, categorize ourselves. So, yeah. Because
in school they teach you that Chicana is like both of your parents are from Mexico, right? That's what I always thought.
What I've learned is that you can be a Chicana if your parents are from Mexico, yeah. But also if you're like third, fourth, even fifth generation, and you don't feel like you're like in the middle, and you don't feel like you have a nation, and that you're in this middle space, and that could also be a Chicano too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that basically you're like robbed of a nation because you're living in the
Chicano nation.
Yeah, I mean, we're living in what used to be Mexico, right?
Yeah.
No matter what.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
We're robbed of it, yeah.
Okay, I get.
So we're in a middle space.
Like the geographical, yeah.
Yeah, and we're in this middle space, yeah. So that answers it totally. What type of impact do you think that, like, your environments that you've grown up and the things that you've been through have had on your politics?
Oh, I think a lot. I think my whole life has prepared me for what I am today.
Yeah.
I mean, growing up, all my experiences with the police, I had this very, like, all my experiences with the police weren't good, but they weren't violent. Or, like, physically violent.
Yeah.
I would just, individually, I would experience it. Like, I would see them come to my house and, like, throw my mom on the floor and, like, you know, put her in handcuffs. She was also, like, not all there. She was, like erratic, but, like, she still didn't deserve that. There was a lot of abuse in my house, and when I would call them, they weren't there for me. Like, I would, like, be crying and tell them, like, this is what happened, like, this is what she did to me, and they would end up flirting with her. So, like, even, like, when I was little, I already had, like, this idea of, like, like, you're not, like, what the hell?
Anything.
Yeah, like, I had this skewed idea of, like, authority. I never had, like, anarchist, like, leanings, but, like, I always was thinking, like, I don't trust authority.
Yeah.
I guess this feeling, like, when you're young, obviously you have your parents to, like, guide you and to tell you this is how you're supposed to be, this is what you're not supposed to be. But even when I went to live with my dad and my stepmom, who I call my mom now, I feel like I was always, like, a little adult. And, like, they know that. They treated me like a little adult since I was young, and I feel like there was a lot of fucked up things going on in my household, and I had no one to go to. So I was like, this government isn't here for us. Like this place that's supposed to like be like the greatest country on earth. Like we're fucking struggling for food. Like there's all these things that I was just like, why does my dad have to like work so hard and like we barely see him and we still can't make like money for like fucking the most basic things.
Yeah.
I think those things, being evicted from our house, working, you know how I was telling you that I was working with my aunt,
yeah.
and I was being paid $30 like for a day, sometimes 20. I started thinking, I was like, this is like, I think this is a lot for me. And I'm like, people, like, how do people survive on like these kind of like this wage, you know, like people with family and stuff. That got me thinking a lot. I always had the idea, I was like, if there's so many people with money and some people don't have money, why can't you just give them money and fix it?
Yeah.
You know, like that idea. Since I was young, I always thought like that. I think that my mental health, I felt very alienated from everything I was doing.
Yeah.
Everything that I wanted to do, and I think everybody feels this way, like I don't care what they say, like everybody wants to do something meaningful.
Yeah.
Nobody just wants to be like robotic. I didn't feel like I was adding any value to anything. Even when I was like, there was a time that I wanted to be like a social worker for like a couple months. I'm like, what really am I doing? What change am I making in the world? So I always wanted something meaningful in my life, and I felt like under capitalism, I wasn't gonna get it. Like I was always working for money for somebody else.
Yeah.
I think like, I guess maybe I'm missing stuff, but like those were like some of the bigger things I can think of that were going in my mind that made me become like eventually like a communist. I call myself a communist, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that totally makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
What the way I've written these questions, these next two questions is kind of fucked up, but I don't mean it in the traditional sense.
Oh, it's okay.
I mean it in a very like just goals, and it could be anything. It doesn't have to be in the fucked up capitalist sense. But what are your professional aspirations? And that could be fucking anything. And then what are your political aspirations? Not in the fucked up, like, you know, run for Senate, but in the, just your goals for yourself, where you want to see yourself, and, you know, whatever that looks like.
Right. I think I've been thinking about that more recently because I hate my job.
Yeah.
And I started thinking about teaching.
Oh, yeah.
So I was thinking that just because in history, like you've seen like a lot of like, not revolutions, but like revolutionary ideas come from students. I think that fucking kids and like just youth in general are so amazing. Like I think that they carry so much spirit. I know like people are always putting down like teenagers this and that, like they only care about their phone. But I think there's so, like you talk to kids and young people and they have so many revolutionary ideas. They're so empathetic, and I guess like that's what draws me into wanting to teach, because I want to do something kind of fulfilling in like in a selfish way, because I know that no matter what I do, it's not gonna be anything, it's not gonna add to like the revolution if it's not like your true like organizing a revolutionary work. So recently I've been thinking about teaching, but I don't, like, to be honest, I don't know. Like I think about that a lot, like if I were to do something different, because I know teaching is like a lot of work. So if I do that, like I want to have time to organize.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
So I don't know, but I mean, if you think of a good career for me, let me know.
I will let you know.
Yeah, let me know.
You do work really well with kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's always the tension between like work and organizing.
Yeah.
Being able to mix the two.